Welcome to my nightmare. I think you're going to like it. I think you're gonna feel you belong. A nocturnal vacation, unnecessary sedation. You wanna feel at home 'cause you belong. Welcome to my nightmare. There's a reason why I'm singing that, and I sing terribly, is because you were voting on Tuesday. And I want you to stop this Trump nightmare. It seems like he's unstoppable, and I've been making videos to every state, almost every state that voted so far. And I consider myself a Republican. I consider myself a Gerald or Ford Republican. And your state is his home state. And I understand that you're afraid of big government. I mean, so is he. A government big enough to give you everything you want is a government big enough to take from you everything you have. But not a big government, but a functioning government. We want a functioning government, federal government, which a lot of people seem not to want anymore. Gerald Ford also said this: "My fellow Americans, our long national nightmare is over." Our national nightmare is about to begin. So I ask you, please, when you vote, do not vote for hate, do not vote for fear, do not vote for intolerance. There are also two religious men, very religious men that came from your state. And I'm going to quote both of them. One is Father Charles Coughlin. I read some of his quotes, and he looks like he's Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders mushed into one with just a sprinkle of Nazi. And these are two quotes he said. "When we get through with the Jews in America, they'll think the treatment they received in Germany was nothing." The way he talked about Jews is the way Donald Trump talks about Mexicans. And this: "On this earth, you must belong to the church militant or get the hell out of it. That's the right word. You're either with me or against me. There's no middle ground in this battle between Christ and the Antichrist. If you step out of the battle, you're worse than those boys who ran off to Norway, Sweden. Those boys who deserted the government. You're deserters, rotten deserters." Now, I don't know if he wasn't for World War II. So I don't know what he actually is getting at here. But I do agree with him. We can't be on the sidelines. There is Christ and Antichrist. I just believe that Antichrist is anti-love, anti-justice, anti-truth, anti-mercy. And Donald Trump, by that, guards, is not the Antichrist. I don't think he's the Antichrist, but I think he is Antichrist. The other guy is Reinhold Neubauer. He served at Bethel Evangelical Church in Detroit, Michigan. And he was for justice. He spoke up against the KKK publicly, describing them as one of the worst specific social phenomena which religious pride of a people has ever developed. Reinhold Neubauer spoke out publicly against the Klan to the congregation. Donald Trump disavowed the Klan just after he was called on what he said. I'm going to leave you with one other quote. "Man's capacity for justice makes democracy possible, but man's inclination to injustice makes democracy necessary." I am afraid I hear him talking about suing the press, and you need a strong press speaking out against government overreach and saying that if Paul Ryan doesn't agree with him, he's going to have to pay a hefty price. Sometimes I wonder, are we in a national nightmare? But you can wake us up. Michigan is a huge state. And if you stand up and say, no, we're not going to follow the crowd, we're not going to follow hate, we're not going to follow fear, we are going to pick Kasich. I'm saying Kasich because he's the only decent person still in the race. But if you do this, if you stand up, Ohio, Florida will fall in line. We can stop this nightmare before it gets worse. And there's another connection that your state has with nightmares. Okay, I keep wanting to say Robert. Robert Shea. He was one of the producers who helped get Nightmare on Elm Street off the ground. Now, I don't know if any of you watch Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, it's one of my favorite stories because I think it's more psychological than gory. But when Freddy killed you in a dream, in a nightmare, whether he sucked you into a bed and vomited you out in blood, or turned you into a Roach Motel, or caused you to turn into a motorcycle, you died in real life. Well, this is a nightmare. Trump is a nightmare, but our soul will die in real life. What he does as president will be real life, and it will hurt us. So please, as I said in the beginning, Michigan, stop our national nightmare before it even begins. God bless.